Hey, Shalom Shalom Mishpocha. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. I'm your host, Rabbi Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and I thought today that it would be very helpful to show you some books and resources that's very basic and would be a good library for any Messianic or Natsari believer, for anyone who is coming out of the church and into Messianic or Natsari Judaism. These are some excellent books and resources that you can study from, glean from, learn from, educate yourself and study from, and it would help you tremendously. I get asked many times, what books, Rabbi, would you recommend? So this is the video that a lot of you have been asking for, recommending particular books. And please forgive me, I don't want to sound self-serving, but my book, Get Back to the First Century, which is found on my Lulu storefront, and I'll give you the website below, this would be a very, very good book for those who are coming out of Christianity, or even for those who are still in Christianity and want to understand and learn the Hebraic roots of the Christian faith. This is a very basic book that I intended to start writing just as an essay for my family to help them understand why I was leaving Christianity and converting to Judaism. And it ended up turning into a book. And it's a very good book that establishes what I believe, why I believe it, how I came to those conclusions. It gives you a little bit of history of the first century believers in Messiah Yeshua. It builds a case for the relevancy of Torah, and that it is still applicable and incumbent upon every believer in Messiah Yeshua today. So this would be an excellent resource, especially if you're leaving the church and coming into Messianic or Natsari Judaism or becoming Torah observant, and people are saying, well, how do you explain Galatians? How do you explain this? Why are you keeping Torah? Aren't you under the law? This is legalism, and you can help answer those questions for people. So moving on, one of the first questions people ask is, Rabbi, what Bible do you use? Well, a lot of times in my essays and in my blogs, I'll use the King James Version, not because it's my favorite or I believe it's the only one, but because it's public domain and there's no copyright restrictions, and it's the most well-known version, and whenever I come across archaic words or poor translations, I can expose that and educate people on that. But the one that I like to read from and study from is put out by the Institute for Scripture Research, and it's called The Scriptures. And this is an excellent resource, and I'll give you the website below on how to what site to go to be able to purchase that. Another one, people ask me, well, what's the best New Testament? What's the best Brit Chadesha to use? And in my opinion, it's the Aramaic English New Testament put out by Gabriel Roth from Natsari Press. And again, I'll give you the website below to go to be able to purchase this. Even for the appendix in the back alone, it is worth the price. It is worth it because there's some excellent essays. It tackles a lot of issues, a lot of common issues and questions of Christians and people coming out of the church and into Messianic or Natsari, Torah-obedient Judaism. And so this is an excellent translation. Also, I would suggest to you to get the Stone's edition of the Tanakh put out by Art Scroll. And I'll give you the website below on where to go to be able to find this. The commentary in this is excellent. It's the entire Old Testament, the Tanakh, and it's got excellent commentary from Rashi, Rambam, things from the Talmud and other rabbis and sages of blessed memory, peace be upon them. And I'd also suggest the Stone's edition of the Chumash. Now what the Chumash is, it's the Torah and all the half-Torah portions. And it goes into a lot more detail commentary-wise. So this is a great way to get a Hebraic understanding of the weekly Torah portions that we read over an annual cycle. So that's what I would suggest that you get as well as far as Bibles are concerned. Now, and to help aid with anyone's Bible study, I would suggest the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible. Now, what this does, the way you use this tool is, let's say that you have a verse in mind. You don't really know where it is, but you want to quote it, you want to find it, you want to share it. You just look up the keywords of the verse that you're looking for, and it'll give you all the list of the words in the Bible where that phrase or that word is found, and eventually you'll find it. So this is a great resource. And in the back, it has a Greek and Hebrew dictionary. And the Hebrew letters, or the Hebrew words, are all numbered, so it's a good resource to where you can find them. And you can use this in conjunction with the Complete Word Study Old Testament, put out by AMG Publishers. I think Spiro Zodhiates was behind this, but it goes through the entire Tanakh, the Old Testament, and virtually every Hebrew word is numbered, so you can find it in the Strong's Concordance and understand what that word means, how it's used, where it comes from, and it'll really help you in your Bible study. Now, this also has a Hebrew dictionary and lexicon in the back, so you don't necessarily have to have the Strong's Concordance, but it's very helpful nonetheless. Now, even though I don't put much stock or trust in the Greek translation or versions of the Brit Chadasha, the New Testament, regardless, there are more Greek versions of the Brit Chadasha out than there are Aramaic or even Hebrew, and so I think it would be very good for anybody to have the Interlinear Greek English New Testament by J.P. Green Sr., put out by Baker Books, and this too has the Greek words that are labeled numerically, to where you can use this in conjunction with the Strong's Concordance to help you find certain Greek words and understand what they really meant. So when you do word studies of the Tanakh and the Brit Chadasha, you get to understand what a particular passage or verse is really saying, because it may look one way in the English, but it's really saying something different in the Greek or Hebrew translation. You always lose things in translation. For instance, I can say, I love pizza, and I can say I love my wife. But, for instance, that word used for love in the Greek are two different words, whereas the English is just one. So if you're looking and you're like, well, I wonder what this word love means in this context, in this verse, you can look it up and you can find it. So that would be another great resource. Now, in conjunction with Judaism and extra biblical work, so to speak, rabbinical literature, it would be great if anybody can get a hold of the Babylonian or Jerusalem Talmud. It is the compendium of Jewish knowledge regarding the Torah and the Tanakh, but a lot of people can't afford that. Most Jewish people can't afford that. In Orthodox and ultra-Orthodox communities, it is traditional for a groom to receive as a gift an entire set of the Talmud. But for those who can't, this is a very affordable alternative. It's called the Mishnah, a new translation by Jacob Neusner, and it's put out by Yale University Press. And basically what the Mishnah is the foundation of oral law. It's the foundation of oral Torah. It's the foundation of the Talmud. You have the Mishnah, then you have the Gemara. The Gemara is the students' and rabbis' commentary on the Mishnah. You put those two together, and boom, you get the Talmud. So, like I said, the Talmud is very expensive, takes most people a lifetime to collect an entire volume of the Talmud and their tractates, but a good alternative is the Mishnah, because this is just the foundation, the core of what the Talmud is all about. And it's a very relatively thin volume compared to the Talmud itself, so that would be a good basic resource to have as well. Also, I would like to recommend Legends of the Bible by Louis Ginsberg, put out by the Jewish Publication Society. And what this is midrash, and usually taken from the Book of Jasher and other rabbinical literature and resources and extra biblical books, and it pieces together the background stories of Abraham, Moses, and the other patriarchs and biblical events and characters, and this is a very good resource to have. Since I mentioned the Book of Jasher, let's see, yeah, here it is. Now, the Book of Jasher, James Trim has a translation, Rabbi Simon Altoff has a translation, but this is put out by J.H. Perry, and this is called the Book of Jasher. And let's see. Now, the Book of Jasher is mentioned in the book of Joshua 10:13 and 2 Samuel 1:18. And so, again, the Legends of the Bible takes a lot from the Book of Jasher, but the Book of Jasher gives you the background story and fills in the gaps of the life of the patriarchs and other biblical characters from Bereshit, Genesis, all the way to the Book of Judges. So this is an excellent, excellent resource to have as well at your disposal. Now, for anyone who is wanting to understand the paganism that is rife within modern-day Christianity and exposes the modern-day church, which basically comes from Catholicism, I would suggest a very old book, but it's fairly easy to get. It's called The Two Babylons, and it's by Reverend Alexander Hislop, and this is a great eye-opening book that will expose the paganism in Christianity, and modern-day Christianity, I should say. So that's a good book as well. For those who are wanting to understand what Messianic or Natsari, Nazarene Judaism is, and why the Torah is still relevant and incumbent upon all believers today, I would suggest to you Nazarene Israel, the original faith of the apostles, and this is put out by Norman Willis and his ministry at www.nazareneisrael.org. And I think that these are either you can get a free copy, I think, or they're very, very affordable. So you can go to his website and find this book there. For those who are wanting to understand the feasts of Adonai, all the feasts that are commanded us to worship in Leviticus chapter 23, I would suggest to you getting Barney Kasdan's 2 books, God's Appointed Times. This goes through all the festivals in Leviticus 23, shows the historical observance, the modern-day Jewish observance, and a Messianic observance of these holidays. So it's almost a how-to book. It's called A Practical Guide for Understanding and Celebrating the Biblical Holidays. The second book is God's Appointed Customs, a Messianic Jewish guide to the biblical life cycle and lifestyle. So it tells you what talits are, what phylacteries or tefillin are. It tells you what tzitzit are, why we wear a kippah, why we wear tzitzit, all these different kind of things. And it gives you a biblical and Jewish background and reasons for this. So this is to help you to understand why we wear tzitzit, why we wear kippahs, why we wear tefillin, things of this nature. Excellent, very basic books. Another good how-to book regarding the feasts is the Handbook of Bible Festivals by Galen Peterson, put out by Standard Publishing. And this is an excellent book because you can actually use this and teach this as a class to either children or adults. And it will help you ease yourself into celebrating these biblical holidays for the very first time. It gives you all the recipes, all the things that you need. There's photocopy material in here that you can use. Has crafts for the kids. It's excellent. It's great. Now, regarding apologetical works, I would suggest to you Answering Jewish Objections to Jesus by Michael L. Brown. There's 4 volumes. The first volume is General and Historical Objections. The second volume is Theological Objections. The third volume is Messianic Prophecy Objections. And the 4th volume, which is relatively new, is New Testament Objections. So this will help you to answer the anti-missionaries or just regular Jewish people who ask you, why do you believe that Yeshua is Messiah? Why do you believe Yeshua is divine? You're nothing but a Christian. Prove me wrong. These are good books to educate and equip you. There's another good website, apologetical website, that you can go to glean this type of material as well, and it's www.therefinersfire.org, and it's an excellent website. So these are basically some general basic books that I would suggest to any one who is coming out of the church and into Messianic, Natsari, Torah-obedient Judaism, or for anyone who is wanting to understand or learn more about the Hebraic roots of the faith. I would definitely suggest to you that you get these books and that you start out with these books. And in the description of the video, I will give to you the websites and the names of these books so you can plug them into your search engine, find them on Amazon, or call your local bookstore, find them there, what have you. And these would be excellent books for anyone to have starting out. This will edify you. This will help your growth and your walk in the Torah and in the faith of Messiah Yeshua, Messianic and Natsari Judaism. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and it's given you a lot of good things to chew on and a lot of good resources to chase after and save up for. So thanks for watching, and shalom and Shavuot Tov. Bye-bye.